Hello everybody, thanks for joining me again. If you join me regularly, you'll know I'm at the same spot as I was last week. I'm at Berry Head. Last week it was dull. Yesterday it was raining all day, but this morning got some lovely light. So I'm not going to hang around. There's a couple of shots I want to get. So let's get on with it. Well, this is the first shot I want to get. You can see the cloud, these two rocks. I'm not in my favourite position, but this will have to do. I still think this is going to look good. So let's set the camera up. Well, I may not have been in my favourite position, but I was still able to use the two rocks to lead into the photograph towards the horizon and just look at the cloud formations I was treated to. How could I take a bad photograph? All I had to do was frame it up. So I also tried it in a portrait, trying to get more of the clouds into the photograph, and this time giving them a little bit more colour when I was processing the image. But the cloud formations were so good, what I decided to do was just a panorama. As you can see, I've got the clouds on the horizon and then fanning out from those the clouds above, and I've left just enough light on the sea so it's not completely black. Of course, in editing, what I've done is I've used the leveling tool to increase the blacks and increase the highlights. Well, that was a frantic 5 minutes trying to get those photographs, trying to capture the light before it disappeared. But it's moving quite slowly, so I've slowed it down a bit. I've come to this ruin. Still got some lovely light behind it. I've got down low, trying to get almost a silhouette shot with a lovely sky behind. Focused in just on the ruin. Histogram looks okay. Nothing in the middle, unfortunately, but 2-second timer, as you saw. Lovely. Well, again, I was lucky. The clouds weren't moving too quickly, so I was able to get this shot again with the ruins almost silhouetted, and then again this almost fan shape of clouds above it. Well, as I said, the cloud bank's moving out slowly to sea, and that's uncovering a bit more blue sky now. So I'm going to take this shot in portrait mode. I'm a bit lower and a bit closer. Still some nice light behind there. And then I think what I'm going to do is put my long lens on and do what I actually had planned to do, and that was to come up and see if I could get some shots of the birds. Well, before I went hunting for the bird life, I took these 3 portrait shots. They're all at f11 using 16mm lens. I'm just adjusting the shutter speed to get the exposure correct. And all I'm trying to do is find different angles on the ruin to try and find a dramatic shot. I wanted to keep some detail in the ruin, so I have increased the shadows slightly. The raw files were a bit more silhouette, and as you can see, the blue sky was starting to come through and a bit more light in the cloud. So it was time to move on. Well, I'm still waiting for the light. It's coming, but it's taking its time. And it's a little bit chilly at the moment, so I'm going to take a quick walk up to Berry Head just to keep warm and see what I see. And then as the light appears and we get some sunshine, hopefully I'll come back here and see if I can get some shots of the birds. Well, although I'm shooting straight into the sun, I'm sure you can see the shot I'm trying to get. This walkway leading up to this bird hide. Great composition. Not sure if you're going to be able to see that. Well, it's always very difficult shooting directly into the sun. This shot works at f8 and 1/100th of a second ISO 50. Only because the sun's obscured by the cloud. But I've got a lovely leading line up to the hide. And this next shot, because the sun's now come over the cloud, I've had to do two exposures, one for the sky, which was at 1,250th of a second, and one for the foreground, which was at a 30th of a second. And I've blended the two together. Well, that's better. Got some light at last. Maybe a bit too much. Right, let's go and see what wildlife we can find. Well, I didn't find many seabirds to photograph, but what I did find I need some help with. So if there's any birders out there who can identify this bird, I think it's a Cirl Bunting, but I'm not absolutely sure. And I'll tell you why. Because not far away was this one. Now, is it a juvenile Cirl Bunting or is it a Yellowhammer? It's certainly very yellow. So, if there's any birders out there who know their stuff, leave me a comment and let me know. But even I know what this one is. This is a goldfinch. There's quite a few little flocks of them around Berry Head. This one just happened to catch the light and pose for me. But this is how you usually see them, in little groups, flitting about, a very chirpy song, and they're easy to recognise, even for a novice like me. Well, I think I'm going to call it a day. It's been a nice morning. Not sure if any of those shots are going to be that great, but enjoyed being out. So, thanks for joining me. Hopefully I'll see you again next week. But for now, cheerio.